Mr. Vice President Børge, Excellencies, colleagues, and friends. It is a great pleasure to start my journey as President of the World Economic Forum by addressing this message to such a distinguished audience. I'm only sorry, with this being the second week of my job, that I cannot be with you in person. As part of my duties at the World Economic Forum, I will also be working very closely with our Executive Chairman, Professor Klaus Schwab, and the Forum's institutional bodies to further advance the Forum's mission as the international organization for public-private cooperation. We know all that a lot of the pressing global issues cannot be solved without a stronger cooperation between the private sector and governments. As you know, public-private collaboration has been at the heart of the World Economic Forum since its creation. The Forum has identified 14 major problems that can only be solved through global cooperation. These areas require forward-looking, systemic thinking, and they require the integration of all state and non-state actors. International trade and investments is one of these areas. Without trade, there will also be no growth. Let me say that we are particularly grateful and excited to be part of this first edition of the High-Level Forum. I'm convinced that this is the start of a successful series. Talking about success, a major accomplishment this year has been the entry into force of the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement. It has provided the necessary framework to achieve faster, cheaper, and more transparent movement of goods across borders. This is also benefiting Africa big time, and there is a huge potential. It has also generated great enthusiasm. It has also helped galvanize concrete public-private collaboration efforts. One example of such collaboration is the Global Alliance for Trade Facilitation. The World Economic Forum has partnered up with the International Chamber of Commerce and the Center for International Private Enterprise to support the delivery of targeted trade facilitation reforms by leveraging the leadership of the private sector. The alliance benefits from the support of the governments of Australia, Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom, and the United States. This is an innovative effort that we believe complements the great work currently being done on trade facilitation. And from my former position as Trade Minister, I know the importance of this. It is crucial to also see real development and inclusive growth. The Global Alliance is actively engaging in Africa. Partnerships are already in place in Ghana and Kenya, and projects are ready to be operationalized. Public-private consultations are currently happening in Morocco, Malawi, Zambia, and Nigeria, which we hope will lead to action. The potential of trade facilitation for the African continent is enormous. And I'm not only talking about African companies, but also African SMEs, young entrepreneurs, and the entire population through job opportunities and sustained and inclusive growth. Today, production patterns are more and more complex and interlinked. We live in a made-in-the-world era. It is therefore impossible to talk about trade without talking about investment. These are two sides of the same coin. For example, analysis by the Global Alliance for Trade Facilitation shows a strong link between a country's trade facilitation environment and the level and number of greenfield FDI projects. Trade facilitation is therefore critical for the rise of Factory Africa. As such, why not replicate the successful experience and lessons learned of trade facilitation to further ease the flow of investment for the Sustainable Development Goals? Creating an enabling environment for investment unlocks growth opportunities for Africa. This is in line with actualizing the aspirations of the forthcoming Continental Free Trade Area, which aims to create the largest single market in the world. In this regard, we will continue to collaborate with the NEPAD agency to drive the Move Africa initiative. The world is experiencing unprecedented change driven by technological shifts of the fourth industrial revolution. This will disrupt supply chains and oblige decision makers to think differently. Our mission at the World Economic Forum is to improve the state of the world. You can count on our support as you strive to deliver better well-being and better prospects for the people of Africa. I wish all of you an excellent forum and fruitful discussions.